Hey folks, David Stewart here. Are you going to be on the wrong side of history and hit that unsubscribe button and disappear from my life forever? Or are you going to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed? Smash the bell, smash the like button, and maybe, just maybe, if the stars align and if I've been graced by the robot gods, the robot, the mighty algorithm, will show you another video of mine sometime. Suggest it to you and you might click on it and watch it. And boy, that would please me a lot. You could be on the wrong side of history and ignore King Leper. You could be on the right side of history and pre-order it out July 25th on Amazon. It won't look exactly like this. It'll be blue. It'll be a laminate hardback, a little bit different from this, but you also could get it on paperback and ebook as well. So be sure to check that book out. If you want to know what it is, I'm trying to think of the log line I came up with in the other video. It's George R.R. Martin meets Poul Anderson. It's like, I want some gritty political fantasy, but I also want high adventure in the Feylands. Oh, well, you're going to get that with King Leper. And for those of you who got it with the Kickstarter, I hope you are enjoying it. Now, the title of this video, The Wrong Side of History. Or maybe I'll title it The Right Side of History. Which side of history is the correct one? You're on the wrong side of history. This is a really common fallacy. I came across a great comment from a mutual on Twitter. He's another author named Chris Shirk. This is not a holistic endorsement of Chris Shirk because I haven't read his work and I haven't interacted with him much. But hallmark of a good writer is being able to encapsulate and briefly condense some big ideas. So let me read this post for you. When people talk about being on the right or wrong side of history, they are not talking about moral right or wrong. What they really mean is being on the side that they believe will be writing the history books, their own side. Moral right and wrong are not even part of the equation. In fact, they do not even care if their side is morally in the right. If someone ever tells you that you're on the wrong side of history, then there's a good chance that it's a veiled threat by a dangerous psychopath. So what a great post. And it made me think of all the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. In one post, you can nail a lot of ideas. Now I'm going to ramble for a while because I'm not capable of thinking briefly. Or it could be that I just have a lot of complex ideas here. So people wondering, what fallacy is this you're on the wrong side of history fallacy? Well, it's an appeal to popularity if you want like a formal, what is this? It's just popularity in the future. It's saying your opinion will be thought of as wrong in the future. You will be in the minority, so you should shut the hell up and join the majority, which is my opinion. My opinion in the future will be the majority and yours won't be, so this is why you should shut up. It could be trouble for you. After we win the revolution, you're going up against the wall for saying these things. That's the veiled threat, right? Do I think everybody is necessarily trying to do this as a threat? I don't think so, because I think this is one of those things, like many things in our culture, in our world with language, people pick it up mimetically. They hear people say it, then they say it and use it in the same fashion without really thinking deeply about, oh, what I'm saying is after we win the revolution, we'll murder you, right? I'm kind of implying that there'll be bad consequences for you having this opinion now. Once we make it illegal to have that opinion, it's going to be bad for you, right? They're not thinking that deeply. They're just kind of repeating what people say. It's kind of like how you hear these Joe-isms. Joe Rogan has a manner of speaking, and some of his isms, his idioms kind of spread through the culture and spread through our English language to the point where I hear people saying things that Joe says all the time who never really listen to Joe Rogan. One of them is saying 100% to everything. 100%, 100%, 100%, right? If you watch Joe Rogan or you listen to Joe Rogan, you'll see that he says that a lot. And he's always said that a lot. It's just one of his idioms, one of his things that he says. And guests will start to say that back to him because they're kind of vibing with Joe. They're getting into Joe's reality. It's Joe's show, Joe's studio. So they start kind of using the language that he's using and repeating it back in the way that makes sense. When he says 100%, he means this is definitely the case. This, I firmly agree. And it just sounds more casual than saying, I firmly agree. So people just say that back. They kind of get into Joe's reality, and then because of that intimate conversational aspect of a podcast, the listener feels like they're in the room with Joe and whoever his guest is. So they kind of get drafted into Joe's language and Joe's way of thinking, and they start repeating those things because it's like they're in a little parasocial little group. When you're in a group with people, you start to talk like them. You start to use their words back to them so that you can effectively communicate. It's part of how we do things. So I think this is an example of one of those. Many of our rhetorical devices are merely things people use on each other, with each other. And so people have said you're going to be on the wrong side of history in an attempt to be persuasive because they don't really have an argument. And it's not an argument. It's not having any kind of real anything to say about what the person is expressing or doing. It's merely saying this will be unpopular in the future. And the real thing really you should do is, instead of worrying about being on the wrong or right side of history, because that's neutral. You know, the White Russian army was on the wrong side of history because they lost. Were they wrong to be on the wrong side of history? I don't think so, considering the horrors of what the Soviet Union did to all the people under its rule, right? I don't think they were wrong to be on the wrong side of history. History goes in many directions that are not morally progressive. You know, the braver stance is to say, yes, I'm on the wrong side of history, and that is what makes me good. That is what makes me good. So you can think of probably many examples throughout history where there's a moral backslide of some kind. The institution of slavery is a really good example. Slavery, chattel slavery, as we think of it, decayed as an institution. It kind of rotted away in Europe throughout the Middle Ages because of a whole bunch of different events that I'm not going to throw into this video, but the point was people stopped being actual chattel slaves through the course of the Middle Ages. And that institution was revived during the age of colonialism. That's not to say it had withered away outside of Europe, but in Europe it had. And in Europe, this world of Christendom where there's supposed to be moral progress, where a lot of the modern people think there's this line of moral progress continuing from the Middle Ages to today. Well, they resurrected chattel slavery. Was it good that they did that? If you were against slavery, you were on the wrong side of history for that. You know, were they on the wrong side? Eventually, slavery went away. So were the people who had slaves on the wrong side of history? I guess, yeah. But point is, history just takes these different directions. It could be a morally bad direction. It could be a morally good direction. And whether it's morally good or bad really depends on what arguments you're making about that action being ethical. We've come up with new ethical systems. There's, Jeremy Bentham's utilitarianism kind of thing. Is it better because it's new? Is it better than Christian theology and Catholic moral teaching? I don't think so. And in fact, I think it can open up the world to all kinds of horrors, but how we judge those horrors is a matter of argument, not just a matter of how history progresses. So that later on, it might be the general consensus that certain kinds of acts that we've allowed or legalized in our society are bad, but the argument for whether they're bad or good needs to be an argument that we have right now, not just I hope in the future people think like me kind of thing. And it really needs to happen in the now. And this is also a frustrating thing, I think, for these more dangerous psychopaths, because history may not go in the direction that they want it to go. The revolution may not happen for them, but for their enemies. And then what do? Now they're on the wrong side of history. And it turns out that they don't want to be on the wrong side of history, right? So there's an assumption built into this fallacy that there's like moral progress, and that's just not the case. So if you're really brave, you'll be like C.S. Lewis. You'll be like, that hideous strength. I'm on the wrong side of history, and I'm better for being on the wrong side of history. Buggy whip writers were not, or buggy whip makers were not on the wrong side of history because they were immoral, but because just technology changed. And just because technology changes doesn't mean we progress morally. There's plenty of horrors in the 20th century with all of its technological marvels that would go right in the face of an idea that as we progress technologically or get wealthier, we get more moral. It doesn't quite work that way. So is there any example where I'm on the wrong side of history and it's good that I'm on the wrong side of history? I think about AI and AI writing. It's like, I have no desire to be one of these indie authors managing robots who emulate human creativity, like editing AI manuscripts. I'm on the wrong side of history. If they say, you're on the wrong side of history, I'm on the wrong side of history, and I'm better than you for it. I'm a better person because I'm an actual author. The reason my books are good, and they are good, is because they're my words, they're my thoughts, they're my heart, they're my choices of emphasis in every word and every syllable, every sentence, every chapter that I write is full of my intent. It's not just me writing tropes and writing common sentence structures in the English language. I make creative choices. It's about what I chose that makes it special. And if I'm on the wrong side of history, I'm better for it. I'm the better person for being on the wrong side of history. And then let's say the market completely reacts to they get tired of AI and no one does AI. Is the author who decided that he was going to fake being an author and publish a bunch of AI manuscripts, is he on the wrong? He's on the wrong side of history. If it goes the other way, was he wrong to be on the wrong side of history? Well, maybe we could say he was, but I'm okay being where I'm at and making my decisions for where I am based on my thoughts now. I don't really care about what happens in the future, right? Is he going to feel bad about himself for doing that? Maybe, but that's not why he should do it. He shouldn't publish AI manuscripts because it's just dishonest. You shouldn't pretend to be an author. You should be one, right? Not be an editor of robots. Maybe we need another word for that takes the place of author in this circumstance. Leave me your thoughts down below. Are you on the wrong side of history? You can grab King Leper this month. Check it out. I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. I do have lots of free stuff there. There's multiple free books that you can grab. So grab one and have a great one. See you next time.